Inside Hilltopper Athletics is brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. Here's your host, Lynn Ullum.
Welcome to the game day edition of Inside Hilltopper Athletics. We are still, fortunately, in Evansville, Indiana, joined by Don Clegg. Well, Don, it's game day.
Oh my goodness, it is game day, and this thing about a gap between the quarterfinals and the semifinals just drove me nuts. I mean, I'm wandering all over the hotel all day yesterday looking for a game to watch, and but it's great to be here. Final, it's not the Final Four, it's the national semifinals because we're Division II, but man, the top four seeds got through, and very good chance these are the four best teams in Division II this season.
Yeah, for the first time they have, and we talked about this in a previous podcast, they've gone to the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday format, which means there's a day off between every game. And you are right, and I think Coach Howell and his staff and the players are getting a little stir crazy because at this point, you're here for business, all you want to do is play.
Oh, no doubt. And we're back here in the media room. Just walked in after the morning shoot around from West Liberty. Everybody healthy, everybody getting a bunch of shots up, and ready to go for Black Hill State.
Well, talking about Black Hill State, this is not going to be an easy one. And it's never going to be an easy one when you get to this level, 4 teams left remaining. So you know it's going to be a quality opponent, but I was impressed watching them play. So tell us how Black Hill State got it.
Okay, well, basically looking at just from where they were at on Tuesday, you know about our quarterfinal where we blew up New Haven. They didn't necessarily blow out Minnesota Duluth, but they were in control most of the way, ended up 86-68. And as we alluded to before, I think with Coach Hallett, they do have the National Player of the Year, Joel Scott, 6'7", 6'8", kind of their Bryce Butler, I think would be a good way to describe it. Can shoot the three, works the paint, distributes the basketball, and a jack of all trades. It scores at a high level.
Well, before we get more into their personnel, let's talk about their route here because they were not a number 1 seed.
No, but again, that's a function, I think, of their region. They come out of the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference, and they have played. The road to Evansville for them was appropriately enough a rocky one. They got off to a tremendous start. They won their first 14, 15 games, got into conference play, and at one point in the season, 5 Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference teams were in the top 25. And Black Hill State is in here at 29-5. They're number 21 in the country, but that's a function of losing a couple games late. They had weather problems, had to play 4 games in the last 7 days of the regular season, lost 2 of them to a top 10 team from their league. But their record against top 25 teams or teams receiving votes in the poll at the time they played them, they're 8-4. So not only do they have an impressive winning record against those teams, almost half of their games have come against top-ranked teams. They're not going to be shying away from the spotlight today.
Yeah, they're not going to be intimidated. So we talked, Scott is the National Player of the Year, and you mentioned the similarities with Bryce. This kid's a versatile player. Watching film last night, they used him as a primary ball handler against the press. He is so big and strong, so athletically gifted. He's got the spin moves, but again, he's kind of like a Bryce Butler, yes, maybe a little bit bigger. But who else do they have?
Well, and again, he's not just a one-man show. Now, he's got huge numbers. He's like the lead scorer in school history. He's almost 2,500 points. He's 17 away from 1,000 rebounds for his career. But they've got another guy, 6'4" guy, Matt Ragsdale, senior transfer. They were high school teammates. Now, Ragsdale transferred from Western Colorado this year. He was the second leading scorer in the Rocky Mountain Conference last year, behind Scott. So Scott just said, well, buddy, come on over and we'll just play our last season together. And they've been a terrific 1-2 punch. Ragsdale, 5 3-pointers, 25 points against Minnesota Duluth. He's had 277 3-point shots. He's made 86 of them this year. And again, we talked about a tall order for West Liberty. Good phrasing. Black Hill State's a tall team. Ragsdale 6'4", maybe 6'5". Rest of their lineup, 6'3" grad students and assist. 8.4 points, 6.4 sophomore Kaylin Hearn, and a 6'6 junior PJ Hayes, who averages about 11 points a game and shoots 44% from three.
Right, and it's going to be a contrast to styles, and we talk about that so much, about who can kind of impose their will. This is a decent shooting team. They've got as much size as we're going to see all season across the board, but from someone that watches West Liberty all the time, I don't know. I think we can use that to our advantage, because I think we have some of the most physical, athletic, fast guards in the country who is going to try to stretch this game to 94 feet. So let's get away from Black Hill State. Let's get back into West Liberty. Let's talk a little bit about some of the keys to that New Haven win.
Okay, one of the big keys I thought to the New Haven win was they just could not handle our pressure. If you remember, we got off to just a little bit of a slow start in the first unit. We were ahead, we weren't making shots. We could turn them over a couple times, but we hadn't really capitalized on it. And we put that second unit in, we've been talking about all season. And it was just like they dropped the piranhas in the goldfish bowl. Basketball started flying all over the gym, turnovers left and right, three-pointers going in. It went from a 10-4 game to 24-4, and it was over midway through the first half. And again, if we can get something like that, some kind of burst, the typical, what they call that patented West Liberty blackout that Coach Allen likes to refer to, those are things that are game changers.
Right, and what, as in all games, we are going to try to extend this to 94 feet. We are going to try to speed them up, not that they don't like to play fast, because they can get up and down the court as well, but it's going to be which team imposes their will to tilt the floor. And that second platoon, the second unit, whatever you want to call them, they have been so darn good pretty much the entire second semester. They've got streaky shooters on that group. Dante Spadafora came in, knocked down a couple threes again the other day. So a lot of weapons with that unit. Alec West, jack of all trades, does a little bit of everything. So that unit, in their own unique way, has had big impacts on our victories.
Yes, they have. One more point I want to make, just to kind of get back to what you were talking about, Coach Allen, about Black Hill State on the national stage. Now, this is our 14th straight NCAA tournament. We're 33-13 NCAA tournament play. We're used to being here. This is our 7th Elite Eight, 5th national semifinal. Last year was the first year Black Hill State ever made it to the Elite Eight. That was their first regional championship. They made it to the Elite Eight, and they walked right into this same floor, and they knocked off an unbeaten in the Southeastern team. And that caught Coach Allen's attention. So there's two ways to look at that. One way to look at it is when we play a team here that's never played us, then they're not used to our style. They have to scout. They've never really played against it. So Nova's still pretty similar to what we do. And so they have a little bit of experience against it. But it also gives Coach Allen the opportunity to scout and see how did they attack Nova Southeastern, what they do, what the Nova Southeastern, what were the adjustments. It's chess at a really high level, and it should be, because you're one game away from playing for a national championship.
Right, and you talk about it's chess, and both teams are scouting each other, but it's just amazing, and I hate to use this cliche, but sometimes it's about who makes shots.
Absolutely.
Because both teams are well coached or organized or disciplined. They're going to find shots at some point. It's hard to guard people and not give up makeable shots. And sometimes it's just, are we going to knock them down, or are they going to knock them down? But this is going to be a good one. You talk about a talent-laden semifinal matchups in both games. If you're looking for great basketball, Evansville, Indiana is the place to be.
Right. And one thing I want to point out to you, no live streaming for this game. It's going to be televised live, CBS Sports Network. If you're back home in the Wheeling area, if you have Comcast, that's channel 274. If you have Comcast at any level, you can actually get that online. But we get that today on CBS Sports Network. If we're fortunate enough to advance, Saturday's game is CBS Sports. That's going to be the main sports channel. It's going to be part of their March Madness coverage. That'll tip off at 2 p.m. back in Wheeling. And boy, would we love to be playing in that.
Yes, we would. Well, thank you for all of you for joining us this week. Hopefully these podcasts give you a little inside information, and let's so hope we're here tomorrow talking about a national championship game. That wraps up this edition Inside Hilltopper Athletics.
Go Toppers!
The Panhandle Difference.
Westbanco appreciates our more than 15-year relationship with Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. They're a one-stop shop that handles all of our work, whether it's quick projects or whether it's a project that might involve multiple locations, multiple branch locations. We appreciate the relationship. Doesn't matter what we throw at them or how complex it is. They get it done quickly and they do a great job.